Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's up?
Do you struggle finding a t-shirt that fits, as well as the one t-shirt that you have in your wardrobe that you love until it finally wore out? Do you wish that standard medium was just a little bit longer? Or for me, that extra large didn't have to be a 2X to get the length? Guess what? We got this taken care of, and you've got to check out Coulter Dillon. They've mastered the perfect fit. They've added fabric color options and personalized artwork to deliver the perfect fitting t-shirt. Forget those pre-done t-shirts that every size doesn't fit anyone. They have custom fitted t-shirts today, and you can save 50% off. That's right, 50% off by using our TechTime Radio code. Use the code TECH50 at CoulterDillon.com to get this special offer. Again, that's CoulterDillon.com to get the perfect fitted t-shirt. Make sure to use that code TECH50, that's TECH 50, for 50% off your first order.
Welcome to the Haunting, Unearthly, and Paranormal Stories podcast. Each week will be a different event, whether paranormal or some other strange and unexplained happening. Maybe even a haunting located near you will be examined and relayed to you. These events and stories are based on events and have been given to us by the people who experience these events in their own lives. These weekly journeys we take together will lead us down deserted roads, into the deep and dark forests, and through the doors of buildings we should not enter. Pull up a chair and join me as we take a step into the unknown here on the Haunting, Unearthly, and Paranormal Stories podcast. Just remember, believe those that you choose, or believe in none. It is your choice.
We would like to thank Podcorn for sponsoring this episode of TechTime Radio. Explore sponsorship opportunities and start monetizing your podcast by signing up at podcorn.com/podcasters. Let me tell you about Podcorn. Podcorn is an absolute must for any podcaster starting out. Now, when we started out TechTime Radio, we started out in a back office with a couple of mics. We expanded to a studio, and then now, as you can see, we're on the radio and have distribution into other markets. Having the ability to have Podcorn at the start of our podcast would have been a dream come true. Guess what? With Podcorn, you now have the amazing opportunity for podcasts to receive sponsorship, such as host reads, interview segments, and topical discussions. With Podcorn, there's no middleman. Podcasters of all sizes can browse and choose opportunities right on their platform, set their own rates, and collaborate with brands directly without exclusivities. You never give up the rights of your podcast in Podcorn, and they're here to support you everywhere possible. Visit podcorn.com. Again, that's podcorn.com. Podcorn is a true success for those starting their podcast dreams.
Broadcasting across the nation, from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, Technology News of the Week, the show for the common everyday person, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on technology subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. We welcome our 35 million radio audience to an hour of insightful technology with a little whiskey on the side. I'm Nathan Mumm, and welcome to our show as we live stream during our show on the 4 of the most popular platforms, including YouTube, Twitch, TV, Twitter, and Facebook. We encourage you to watch us live or listen to us on techtimeradio.com or even tweet out during the show on Twitter at hashtag TechTimeRadio or #TechTimeRadio or Waffle Maker TechTime Radio.
Really? Just going to go there?
Well, isn't that what you used to call it, the Waffle Maker sign?
No.
No?
It was always the pound sign.
The pound sign. Okay, all right. It's during the show, and we'll do our best to respond to that.
Maker sign?
I thought you used to call it a waffle maker sign. All right.
No.
I'm a technology expert with
Tic-tac-toe.
30 years. Oh, tic-tac-toe. There you go. 30 years of expertise working with companies like Microsoft, Vulcan, and a keynote speaker on technology subjects from security to blockchain and everything in between. My co-host Mike O'Day is an award-winning author, originally from Arizona. He's a human behavior expert living in the Seattle area with a master's degree in forensic psychology with a 20-plus year career helping others understand human behavior so they can make better decisions. Mike keeps me from geeking out while providing an insightful information into human behavior and how it interacts with technology. We're two friends that come from different backgrounds but bring the best technology show possible every week for our family, friends, and fans to enjoy.
Howdy.
Howdy. Welcome, everyone. Now, let's start the show.
Now on today's show.
All right. Today on the show, are you being watched at work? First, we're going to look at software companies that are using software to track every move at work and at home. So this is a big thing going on right now. I've had
Of course it is.
5 companies contact me all about implementing this type of technology so that they can know what their remote workers are doing, what their current workers are doing, and they want to know every aspect of the workday. We're going to be talking about that and a software that specifically takes screenshots from every 5 minutes of your PC, or how about monitoring your data files you transfer, or even break down the usage of every application you use during your workday on the PC.
Big brother.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this. We got lots to talk about. Is that acceptable? What happened to trust? Is there no longer trust within the remote work from home area? Is that why all these companies are asking for this type of tool solution?
Sure.
And you know what's really interesting is there's companies out there now making automated tools that, like if I'm on a Zoom meeting or from something else, where it'll automatically move my mouse, make it look like I'm working.
That's what I was going to ask. Is if we got these tools that are monitoring it.
Yeah,
maybe we should talk about that.
Okay, we'll talk about it in the segment. All right. Then next, Russia bans Instagram as they promised. They blocked 8 million users, and they 80 million users, and they also removed Facebook and Twitter. So essentially, if you live in Russia right now, you have no true social media. You can just listen to your president tell you that everything's going well, and I guess that's the only way that you actually communicate with people to have this.
This is a problem.
It is a problem. All right. Hopefully, we're going to talk about it. And what happened to the big ARM deal? We talked about ARM in NVIDIA. NVIDIA was going to buy this ARM processing chip. It was going to move all of these chips into one large manufacturer. Well, the deal is dead. And with that, there are a bunch of people that are losing their jobs because of regulations in both the UK and the United States that did not want this to happen. We're going to talk a little bit about this. Of course, we have This Week in Technology, Mike's Mesmerizing Moment, and our pick of the day. So sit back, raise a glass, and welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Now, before we start our show, we always go with the loaded question of the week, brought to you by Elderberry Boost. Get your Elderberry Boost today at elderberry-boost.com. Our loaded question. Mike and Odie, here's the question for you guys. It is, what is your favorite day of the week?
Summertime.
That's not a day. Let me help you out here, psychologist. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
I haven't heard that in a long time.
You haven't heard that? You remember when we used to say that? Yeah. Okay.
What's my favorite day of the week?
Yeah.
Friday.
Why is it Friday?
Because it's the last day of my work day.
Oh, it's the last.
My last work day of the week.
So I got a question about you.
It's the beginning of my weekend.
Okay, so think about this. Why do we have a 40-day work week? I'm going to ask you that question now in Mike's Mesmerizing Moment, since you just brought this up.
It's arbitrary. We talked about that.
Okay, we're going to talk about it. You need to cue that up, okay? Why we have a 40-hour work week. Okay, Odie, it goes to you next.
I'm going to say Monday.
Monday is your favorite day?
Yeah, because I work Sundays, and I don't work on Mondays. I made it a point to not work on Mondays, so everybody's miserable on a Monday, and I'm happy.
Really?
Yeah.
So my favorite day used to be Saturday. When we did when we did the radio show on Saturday, because I could kind of take like half day off, kind of come to work. We would go out to dinner after the event, go home, play video games, and now, of course, now that we're on Tuesdays from 3 to 4 p.m. on Kixie, and we're not on Saturdays from 4 to 6 p.m. live. That became chore day, so that is probably the least favorite.
That's
so I would say Sunday is now my favorite day. All right,
okay.
All right, well, Mike, as always, we also have our whiskey tasting during the commercials. We'll see if our selected whiskey gets 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up in our pick of the day. Make sure you listen all the way through the show to see if you will hear something that will make you go, Now on to our first segment, bringing you the top technology stories everyone will be talking about for weeks to come within the first 5 minutes of the show.
What's happening in the world of technology? This is our top stories in the first 5 minutes.
All right, welcome to the top stories in the first 5 minutes. Story number 1. ARM which is a processing company, ARM, which is a processing company. They make little microprocessors. Sometimes they're used in computers, sometimes used in video graphics, but essentially they cut 100 jobs after NVIDIA deal for $40 billion falls through. So essentially this was the big deal. We talked about this on TechTime Radio about 3 or 4 months ago when they were actually going to do this big $40 billion deal. And this is what's happening. As much as 15% of its workforce is going to be affected. ARM is preparing to cut hundreds of employees from its global workforce after being forced to abandon its $40 billion sale to NVIDIA. The Telegraph reports that the company's chief executive office leader, Renee Haas, told staff on Monday that between 12 to 15% of the company's employees could be affected. This could translate to almost 1,000 employees in ARM, seeing the majority of the roles being affected in the UK and U.S.-based workforce. It's going to be a tough time for everybody, he says, so I want to be clear on what we're doing. In an email sent out to employees, we need to be more disciplined about our costs, and we're investing into items that are most important for the company. This news comes over a little more than a month after the parent company, SoftBank, said it abandoned ARM sale to NVIDIA in the face of significant U.S. and U.K. regulation challenges. After abandoning the deal, which would have been one of the largest semiconductor industries ever to be done, SoftBank says its plans to take ARM public to cash in on the company's growth process.
Yeah. How about that?
So
that's the way you save money nowadays.
The way you save money is you do a big sale.
You get rid of your...
Then he doesn't go through, right? Which probably would have been a fantastic deal because NVIDIA can't even keep up with the video processing chips that they need to make. So if you had ARM work together, they probably could have done computers. They could have done video graphics, a huge manufacturing plant in itself. ARM has a lot of expertise. Essentially, they're going to go down to the bare bones. They're going to go public. Hopefully, they're hoping, I'm sure, that they raise enough money when they go public to fund all of their needs, maybe hire some of those people back at a later time and compete on the open market. Not a very smart idea, but okay, we'll see what happens to them.
That's right.
They'll be available for slim pickings here for probably half the price in about 2 or 3 years.
All right.
All right, story number 2. I think you got Mr. Social Media Man. This is all up your neck of the woods. What do we have here?
Well, as we talked about a second ago, Russia has gone on and banned Instagram as promised, blocking access for 80 million users in a move that follows both bans of Facebook and Twitter. The social media platform is inaccessible for the vast majority of the country's population. The country announced plans to ban Instagram last week in response to parent company Meta's decision to allow Facebook and Instagram users in some countries to call for violence against Russian soldiers following the country's invasion of the Ukraine. Russia has been steadily restricting access to online platforms in an effort to control the flow of information about the war and has already banned Facebook and Twitter. Last Friday, Instagram chief Adam Mosseri said in a tweet that this decision will cut 80 million in Russia off from one another and from the rest of the world as negative 80% of people in Russia, or whatever.
Okay.
Not negative 80. 80% of people in Russia follow an Instagram account outside the country. So, yeah, that's disturbing in some ways. That the more they ban outside influences, the more insular they get. So
it's really interesting. So TikTok is essentially their only social media platform, of course, produced by China.
Right.
That the Russians have information that they have. And it's very interesting now on TikTok, a lot of the censorship is coming in there where they're not allowing a lot of the standard streams that used to be there. And again, it's a Chinese-based company, so they can censor whatever they want on their own social media platform.
Yeah.
But the information isn't coming into Russia anymore.
Well, yeah. So they want to disrupt communications outside, and they want to disrupt communications inside. So they won't, that makes sense.
So you can control.
So yeah, it's all about perception. Controlling perception. They don't want their citizens knowing what's going on unless they approve of it.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of social media leaders that are YouTubers and Twitch streamers and some of these platforms that essentially this was their full-time job in Russia. I read a bunch of reports where they essentially said to all their fans, we don't know when we're going to be back on again. We thank you very much. It's very disturbing to our families and to the production crews that we had for a lot of the stuff that we had, and we'll get back to you at a later time. So it's really interesting, these free platforms that we take kind of for granted, that we always sign up and, of course, give away all the rights for anybody to have our information that they want. We start making money on these platforms, and these people start developing full-time jobs, and then all of a sudden this platform can be pulled because they don't own that platform
That's
itself,
right. This has happened to a lot of these producers, especially when they're doing stuff that are really kind of crazy.
Yep.
And so they, some of these people are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month.
They are.
And,
you just pull the plug, and now all of a sudden you're going to have
next thing they don't get nothing.
They're not. That's it. They can't transfer any of it. All right, story number 3. Story number 3.
Which story?
Number 3. As we're through the story number 2, story number 3. Microsoft is testing ads in Windows 11 File Explorer. So listen to this. Windows has begun testing promotions for some of its products in the File Explorer app on devices running the latest Windows 11 builds.
Okay, seriously?
So, yes. So think of this. So you go into File Manager, and File Manager for Windows is essentially where you have all of your disk directories, right? You have your C drive.
That's right. I just want to open up that thing. Now I get...
So you're going to have an ad.
If I'm on Windows 11...
If you have Windows 11, now there's going to be an ad at the very top as you open up and try to go through and explore your information that's going to sell you stuff. Microsoft will use such ads to promote other Microsoft products. For instance, how about write with confidence, access documents, email, and the web with the Microsoft Editor? Or you can imagine the reaction as this has had a huge adverse feedback with a lot of the users. This is in the test build, so this is not in the Windows 11 build that you currently have. This is on the Insider build, which is kind of what they test right before they go to release it to the market.
Yeah, this is like a focus group.
It is. But did you understand that Microsoft in 2016 essentially did this all the time?
No.
So they used to have a Windows Explorer that came on up. Every single time you opened the File Explorer in 2016, Microsoft showed a OneDrive ad in the Windows application that suggested that instead of having these files copied on your local system, that you should subscribe to a OneDrive file so you could put them all into the cloud itself.
Nice. I guess I should try and use that more often.
You should probably use OneDrive more often.
I don't know. Maybe if they have Clippy come on and say, "Hey, you want to buy stuff?" That would be awesome.
Clippy?
Yeah, you remember Clippy?
I do remember. Oh, I remember Clippy very well. I also remember Microsoft Bob, too. Let me tell you, that was
Bob. Tink, tink, tink. Hey, maybe you want to buy something from Microsoft. Tink, tink, tink. Go away, Clippy.
All right, there you go. Well, Mike, our time's up. We got through the top stories. If you want to learn more about us, of course, you can always visit us online at techtimeradio.com and click on the episode section or blog to get more details regarding each of these stories and features and links. So, well, as we always say, this information that we talk about here, the next one, our Technology Insider, is a little bit more opinion-driven, so we're going to talk about this. But this is factual, straight news, and we provide links to each one of these stories weekly. You can go and take a look at this on both our podcast postings and our YouTube postings. So any of the stories we talk about, you click on the link. We're not making this up. It's not a fake news area. We're not trying to scare anybody. We just report the news as the news comes in for technology. Now, it's time for us to take a break. And during the break, we're going to be tasting our beautiful whiskey. We have Mark Gregoire was back at our production meeting last night.
Yeah, you got.
He kind of just laid down the law on me, didn't he?
Well, yeah, because
you
sort of threw him under the bus last week, and nobody knew it until he showed back up.
That's right. So we're going to have his Mark's Mumbles are from Mark. Last week I said Mark's Mumbles.
Last week they were not from Mark.
There were Nathan Nuggets in the Mark's Mumbles area. That's right. Okay. Well, up next, again, we have our Technology Insider. We're going to explore software programs that track your activity during the workday. Is it okay to take a screenshot every 5 minutes of your PC? Or how about monitoring your data file transfers? Or break down the uses of each application you use on the PC. Is this acceptable? Join us after the break as we look at this technology that many companies are rolling on out specifically for the remote workforce. If you're listening right now to TechTime Radio, you can always go and visit us again at techtimeradio.com. Mike, Odie, and myself are going to take a commercial break. We'll see you after this. Hey, Mike, have you ever heard of Blue Chew?
What are you going to ask me, Nathan?
Blue Chew essentially is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable form at a fraction of the cost.
Tell me more about that.
Did you know there are all kinds of reasons guys aren't able to perform? Age, medical condition, and stress. The chewable for BlueChew.com can help you be able to perform at your best. Blue Chew is an online prescription service, so no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. And it ships right to your door in a discreet package. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com. Consult with one of the licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part? It's all done online. Blue Chew's licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredients and strength for your prescription. Don't like swallowing pills? No problem. Blue Chew tablets are chewable. Tablets are made in the USA, good old America, and prepared and shipped direct, so it's cheaper than any pharmacy. And here's a special deal for our listeners with the promo code TechTime to receive your first month free with the use of our promo code TechTime at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com. That's BlueChew.com. Promo code TechTime to receive your first month free. And we thank Blue Chew for being a sponsor. Hey, Mike.
What?
Have you heard of elderberry?
Only in reference to a Monty Python movie.
Well, let me tell you, Elderberry Boost. Again, that's elderberry-boost.com.
Elderberry Boost.
Yes, Mike, that's Elderberry Boost.
You can choose organic Elderberry Boost, that 8-ounce size. That's available on sale right now at $11.99. But you're listening here right now on TechTime Radio, so you need to go to Elderberry. That's ELDERBERRY-boost.com and get some today.
Elderberry Boost.
Elderberry is an all-natural organic immune system booster and antiviral. Elderberry is known to actively fight against viruses, including colds and the flu. It also works as a natural remedy for allergies, cancer, digestion, heart disease, high cholesterol, headache, toothache, weight loss, and reduced inflammation.
It's a natural and healthy diuretic and has many antiviral properties. While it is famous for fighting the flu, it is effective for any illness.
Elderberry Boost was created to provide a quality organic elderberry to their customers. After searching years ago for a perfect elderberry syrup, none could be found, so they essentially created their own homemade recipe.
If you would like to get 15% off your first order of Elderberry Boost, just put in the discount code TechTime at checkout.
Again, that's elderberry-boost.com.
Elderberry Boost. We got to get rid of that.
What's that?
Elderberry Boost.
That's what happens when you do a commercial and you don't know that I'm always recording you 24/7 on that. All right, welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the technology show for the everyday common person, brought to you weekly. Our 1-hour technology shows about current technology in a simple format without having to geek out. Brought to you by myself, Nathan Mumm, and Mike Corday. We just had our whiskey tasting during the break, and now let me tell you about what we were sipping for our pick of the day. It is the Crown Royal Vanilla. To create this extraordinary blend, Crown Royal whiskeys are carefully selected by their master blender and infused with the rich flavor of Madagascar bourbon vanilla. The result is a unique, sophisticated whiskey with a bold vanilla flavor and a distinct, smooth taste. All right, so this is produced by Diageo, a production company located out of Toronto and Ontario, Canada. It is a flavored whiskey. There is no age stated. It is a 70 proof alcohol by volume, and it is $20.99 for the bottle that we have here. And it comes in a nice little
Crown Royal always comes in a bag, right?
A little bag. That's right. So you can hide the bag, I guess, if you're out and you don't want anybody to know. Even though it's got their big logo on it, it's available there.
Yeah.
So what do you think of your first
starter dice bags?
That's right, starter dice bag for a D&D player,
That's
right? All right. What do you think of the taste?
I so far I like it. It's pretty good.
You like it?
Yeah, it's tasty.
All right. Do you taste the rich aroma of vanilla and oak?
Sure.
Do you taste the creme brulee on the tongue with the smoothness of light, creamy vanilla?
Maybe.
Okay, well, we'll keep on seeing.
We're gonna keep going all of these weird little things.
Well, I'm just reading this.
Creme brulee, huh?
I got.
Where's the creme brulee come from?
Well, I don't. That it's supposed to be in there. I'm just reading my information from Mark's Mumbles. So there we go.
It's tasty.
Okay, that's good. You know what? A tasty whiskey is probably most important than anything else.
Well,
it's not. At least it's not Canadian Mist.
It's
the worst
Canadian.
whiskey in the world.
or that other stuff,
red-blooded,
whatever.
We had to. All right. Well, we're about now. After we had our pick of the day, make sure you stay all the way through the show because we're going to get it either a thumbs up or thumbs down. Now we're about to head into our main segment as we talk about technologies weeks ahead of the mainstream media. Today we're going to be talking about and breaking down one software application. Let's get ready to start our main segment.
Welcome to Technology Insider. We get the information directly from the source.
All right. Are you being tracked at work? Would you even know that if that is the case, that your work or your home PC that your company has given you could be looking at your personal surroundings? What happens when you use your work computer for personal items, emails, ordering on Amazon, maybe a bank transaction, or any other non-productive work on a company asset? Well, these companies now have tools out there that are deployed and are being deployed to make sure that you are working each and every second of the day. You're on the clock for the company.
That's right. This is the technology solution to the overseer.
That's right. And guess what we're going to talk about today? An application called Time Doctor. Now sit back and think. Is it okay to have your screen shot every 5 minutes on your PC? What if you're monitoring data and you had something unacceptable that you shouldn't have on your screen and it accidentally took a screenshot? Well, let's go to the tagline of this company. Your employees will be held accountable for their output each day. This ensures that they're motivated enough to produce results regularly. Mm-hmm. With a good time tracking tool, this reduces the need for office space as your employees can remain productive remotely. You'll have fewer worries when hiring remote workers as a tool that ensures they're committed to your organization. A good remote employee monitoring software reduces the time spent on time tracking, task management, and other tools. Used by companies like Apple, Ericsson's, and others, there's no surprise that Time Doctor is one of the best options for you and your team.
Yeah, sure.
All right. You got that? All right. So let me tell you this. Time Doctor. I have all of their ads that I printed here from their website. And I'm very familiar with, there's lots of tools out there. So we're going to pick on poor Time Doctor. And the reason we're going to pick
why are we picking on Time Doctor and just not these in general?
Well, because
these in general all try to accomplish the same things.
Because Time Doctor is by far the best. Okay, so
by what measure?
They have the most tracking tools. They have the easiest process to set up. You can set up tracking for an employee in about 15 minutes.
Oh, really?
Basic IT person.
So this
is tracking.
This is the OCD version of the time tracking tool.
So this is So this Time Doctor is by far the best. Now they've been doing this since the last 10 to 11 years. So this is not new. They did not come on out just because of COVID. Everybody wanted this tool during the COVID time thing. I want to know what my employees are doing at home, what's going on.
I used to work for a telecommunications company. Okay. I was a supervisor for a training group, and I had the ability to spy on what they were doing.
Yeah. Did you do that a lot?
No, because they could always tell when I was doing it because it would wobble their screen when I logged into it to see what they were doing. So they would get pretty wise really quick.
So Time Doctor is what we're going to take a look at. There's many different tools out there like this company. This company has a tool for your company anywhere between $3 at a large purchase price. But if you go to their website, you can purchase these tools for $7, $10, $20 a user per month. So these are tools that you can get that takes care of stuff. But let me tell you what they do. They cure your time-wasting habits.
Yeah.
This is from their website, everything we have here. Time tracking and employee monitoring. Track your time and your employees' time so they can clearly see what's being done throughout the day. Time Doctor creates a summary of the time spent on each project, client, and task. See how much time employees spend working at their computer versus away or a long break.
Mm-hmm.
You can manually edit time if needed, but the results are going to improve with this tool. Productivity.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so they got time tracking. This is a
fear-driven device.
Well, let me just tell you. So here on the page of timedoctor.com/time tracking with timedoctor.html, but you can just go to and visit their site and say, what is this tool? Essentially, there's a readout that says fixing bugs, load tests, testing, researching, and it maps your whole time together. So if you're supposed to work an 8-hour day and you're employee X and you spent 49 minutes checking email and only 2 hours doing testing, at the end of the day, you may come up short for your hours owed to the company. And this keeps track of that so that your managers and senior managers will know that
this takes a lot of stuff out of context.
That you still owe 49 minutes left of your time. Now let's take a look.
Do you pay them back? What's the deal?
With this tool, let's see the top used unproductive websites and applications on a generic process that they had in here. They have Solitaire. They did like a company analysis, and they show you how to do this. On solitaire.com or Solitaire executable for your computer, there was over 110 hours spent. Or Facebook, 76 hours spent.
I have a feeling that's got to be wrong.
What the Solitaire was hilarious?
Solitaire uses more than
Facebook. Well, you know what? Maybe that's not the case. But essentially, this will print out a sheet, a graphical bar with the employee's name, and will show what applications you're using each and every day. Okay. So if I keep Facebook open and my active mouse is in that window itself and I'm moving back and forth, it'll keep my time. Now, you can view screenshots of real-time progress. So, I can spy in on them. So I can see screenshots real time, which is essentially spying in on the person.
Mm-hmm.
To see how the project's being done and how they're spending their time in their workday. In addition, Time Doctor creates daily and weekly summary reports with hours, website and application usage, task and client breakdown, and more. Employees can view their own time stats to quickly self-correct any wasting time behavior. These insights allow you to identify areas of improvement and instantly increase productivity.
Yeah, I love how they put these nice little good sounding stuff to it. But what it really comes down to is that it's a fear-based tool.
Fear-based tool?
It's a fear-based tool.
Well, you know what? Maybe I want to be more productive. So if I loaded this, maybe I could have more productive processes. Because if I purchased this and I deployed it out, I could have distraction alerts come on up. So essentially, distraction, if it's detected that you spend an excessive amount of time on YouTube, Facebook, or any application, so it could be like a video game or a tool that's being used, it will alert the user with a pop-up that will immediately come on the top of the screen that will send an alert that your computer has been set idle for too long during your working hours.
So it tells you, hey, you're not working. Right?
Distraction alerts remind you and your boss immediately.
And you and your boss. Immediately. That's my point.
That your team is
let me ask you this question.
Staying focused and important on the task during the work hours.
Let me ask you this question.
Look at this big right here.
Would you be okay with that as an employee? Would you be okay with that being on your computer?
Hell no.
Okay.
Sorry. Heck no. Well, no. This is no. But you know what? Companies are doing it.
Yeah.
I guess if I worked at a company, I work at a great company. And so they expect you to get projects done, and they expect you to get your work done. And you know what? If I spend a little bit of time doing research, that's probably going to help the company, really, because I can find something new to do. They're not tracking every time I click on an email or every time I do something.
Yeah, my problem with these is that it goes against human nature.
Okay.
So they're trying to set this. Okay, this is a fear-based tool. This is a tool that says first off, as a company owner, I'm saying I don't trust my workers.
Okay.
So I'm going to watch what they're doing. I'm going to set Big Brother on them, and I'm not going to have a managing crew that can manage this.
Yeah.
But I'm going to set this stuff on them, and it uses nudge technology and all this other stuff to keep them in place.
Okay.
It's about control, right?
Also, hasn't it been proven that people do better when they take a second to breathe and get off task for a little bit and then come back?
So I have to go to an expert on that.
So the problem is that this makes an assumption that somebody's going to be productive for 8 hours a day, right? And that's the bad assumption.
Okay.
Because they're translating something into a dollar amount.
Okay.
Right? Because we get paid.
Yep.
And you said, what about the 40-hour work week?
No, we're going to talk about that.
We'll talk about that in a second. So they have this idea that they can use this technology, and it can. And what they're going to find out is that if they use, I bet you money that companies that use this technology, the employees probably are more productive, but they are more stressed out.
Okay. So let me tell you. So what age groups do you think reached out to me to have this tool.
Primarily, I'm going to guess it was baby boomers.
That is correct. So you know what?
Because their work ethic is based off of this. You need to work, and when you're at work, you have to work, and there's no other excuse than not to work. Whereas
I do have one millennial that wanted to do this, and they're going to open it up again for the employees as a productivity app, and they're not going to report any information up. They're just going to keep it for the employee itself to see what they're spending time on. So if they're supposed to be spending 80% of their time on X and they're only spending 30, they can actually then justify it to add additional staff.
You can justify this any way you want to, but the fact of the matter is regardless of what they're saying it's used for, people are going to be using it for the wrong purposes. So you're going to have managers who are going to be using this, and they're going to be busting their people all the time. They're not going to be managing, they're going to be correcting.
Okay, so let me tell you, you can take screenshots and activity levels. Time Doctor takes a screenshot of the user's computer screen every few minutes, as well as offering insight into the mouse and keyboard activity levels, so it records it. The screenshot features with optional time interval settings can be enabled or disabled for each user. Note, if a screenshot is removed, the associated work time will be removed as well also.
Yeah.
So if let's say I'm doing something I don't during my break time and it gets on there, I guess I could say that this is not to be a screenshot that somebody should have any longer.
Yeah, so let's take everything out of context. If I'm watching your little thing and I get your little screenshots because I'm your boss, and there's a screenshot of you on Facebook, and I'm like, what the hell's he doing on Facebook?
Yeah.
And then I call you down and I'm like, hey, what are you doing on Facebook? Well, maybe part of your job is to look on Facebook.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
So then I guess your manager wouldn't really be busting your chops then, right?
I have real problems with using technology to do. Like I said, this is like the version of the overseer in early industry.
Well, let me just tell you, Time Doctor. You're going to love this. It works on every device.
Oh,
so it works on Windows, Macs, Linux, Android, iOS, and Chrome operating systems. And you can download the mobile app for your Android phone or iPhone.
Yeah, and guess what?
So you can have the same tracking abilities as your desktop on your mobile device.
And guess what?
Yeah.
People are going to, and what happens when you overtly control behavior? You know what happens?
What happens?
The negative behavior that you're trying to extinguish actually goes underground.
Okay.
So what that means is that you're going to have people who get the software that shows that you're working, but you're not really working.
Yeah, and there's actually some companies making
or
that
they're
now.
going to
So
move,
now you have companies that literally can record you for a 15-minute loop, put you on a Zoom call or a Teams call with you doing nodding and all of this that the people are actually paying for.
This is all this sort of weird game because we kind of fail to realize that human behavior is cyclical.
Okay.
Through a given 8-hour period of day, there was a study that was done years ago that said that the productiveness is about 6 hours in an 8-hour day.
Okay.
And so these
solution means
ideas are saying, no, we can squeeze every ounce of productivity out of it.
So all I got to do is unplug. All I got to do is unplug to make sure you're not connected, right?
I worked for a company once that got in a tizzy with somebody who wasted 2 seconds of productivity time.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot more to that story.
Okay.
But they got upset because this person got up out of their seat, walked to a door, waved to somebody that they knew, came back and sat down during their productivity time, and they got in trouble. And then I got in trouble.
And then
because I didn't get them in trouble.
Wow, boy. Okay.
So again,
are you still working for that company?
No, that wasn't that.
Okay, that's what I said. All right. Well, let's talk about offline time tracking. Right?
Offline. Yeah.
So let's say online or offline, your work progress will be monitored and recorded, even though you'd think that you may be disconnected. With this great tool, Time Doctor, even if your team are working offline or get disconnected, Time Doctor will continue to track your progress. But guess what? Once you're back online, this information will be synced to your account, so all that activity done during the off-time areas are still accounted for, and you don't lose your off-time hours.
No, sorry. This also assumes that all employees are the same.
So here's the biggest thing. Privacy and secure. With Time Doctor, your information is private and secure. All information, including screenshot captures, are encrypted before being sent to our servers. We use the world-class SSL encryption and latest servers to ensure your information is kept safe. So this is a gold mine for hackers. Let me just tell you, protect yourself today. If I can get this information about a company, about the employees, do you know how many violations I could have that those fines go to against the company?
Yeah, well, who's are we talking about? So
all this is kept on the Time Doctor website. So all I got to do is hack into Time Doctor.
I think these are bad ideas.
All right,
I think they're all bad ideas.
So
I don't think there's an answer for this idea that somebody is productive 24/7 because they're not. They're never going to be. You're never going to have all of your workforce producing 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, or 5 days a week at the same time, at the same rate. There's never going to be this idea that you can have a productive workforce that is queued to every second. It's not going to happen because that's not human behavior. We can apply as much technology as we want to it. It's not going to happen.
You don't think so?
No, it's never going to happen.
Okay.
Are you? Are you going to do it?
Well, no. I may deploy this for some companies. But let me tell you, I want to know how listeners are feeling. So all you got to do is go to techtimeradio.com, click on the Be a Caller button in the top right-hand column, and tell us. You leave us a 30-second little message. Leave us a message on if you would like to have Time Doctor, a time tracking software available at your company to help you be more productive. I'm very curious to hear what our fans are going to think about that.
You want to know where the 40-hour work week came from?
Well, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Up next,
we're going to talk about that.
All right, well, up next, we have our segment Technology Insider. We're going to have to take a commercial break, and we'll see you right after this.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. StoriCoffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our Medium Roast Founder Series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at StoriCoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at StoriCoffee.com with code TechTime. That's STORI coffee.com.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, do you ever feel tired, have a headache, or maybe a little bit under dehydrated?
Yeah, I get told that I need to hydrate more often.
Guess what, Mike? I have a solution for you.
What is it?
Hydronique Hydration. The electrolyte power drink packets are available for you now. Started in the midst of the pandemic, the founder of Hydronique Hydration, a frontline healthcare worker, started developing constant headaches. Do you know that most powdered drinks on the market have tons of sugar and caffeine, especially those Rockstar and Gatorade substitutes?
Yeah, like you drink.
So I'm going to need to change.
So what did the founder do?
Well, that's why he created Hydronique Hydration, sugar-free, keto-friendly, plant-based, antioxidant-rich, electrolyte powdered packets for daily use, containing all the essential vitamins and minerals with a refreshing taste. Their product contains elderberry, which has immune-boosting properties for supporting during cold and flu season. Hydronique Hydration electrolyte powder packets can also fit in your bag or suitcase when traveling. Your busy days in 2022 can change. Do you want a sugar-free, keto-friendly vitamin drink to give you hydration boosts? If so, give Hydronique Hydration a try. You can visit the website at www.hydroniquehydration. It's www.hydronique hydration.com. That's the word hydration and unique mashed together. Or you can search for Hydronique Hydration on Amazon.com or on their own website at hydroniquehydration.com.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
All right, March 13th, 1986, 10 years after the company's founding, a company by the name of Microsoft Corporation stock goes public at $21 per share. The stock was eventually closed at 27.75 cents a share. It peaked to 29.25 a share shortly after the opening. It is said that the rising value of Microsoft stock has made an estimated 4 billionaires and 1,200,000 millionaires of Microsoft employees.
12,000.
12 12,000 millionaires.
12,000 million.
What did I say?
You said 1,200,000.
Oh, 1,200,000. Sorry, 12,000 millionaires of Microsoft employees. Some 2.5 million shares were sold the first day, raising $61 million in what some analysts refer to as the deal of the year. Co-founder Bill Gates, then 30, sold 1.6 million in shares and retained 45% of stake of the company, worth $350 million. Microsoft stock climbed more than 100-fold between 1986 and 1996. There you go. There we go. Your This Week in Technology.
Yeah.
Do you have Microsoft stock?
I do not.
Hey, don't you wish you could just go back to day one and just buy one share?
That's why I would build a time machine.
Well, there you go. All right. Well, that ends our segment. We are going to take a commercial break. When we come on back, we have our Protect Yourself Today segment. Hey, Mike, did you know that Unidragon puzzles are a great relaxation?
Yes, I did.
The 21st century widespread digitalization pushes people to have gadget-free rest. In this case, puzzles become a convenient and actual way of having rest.
Yeah, they're a great way to relax. They give your brain a reboot.
Is make sure that you visit unidragon.com with the discount code for 10% off with the code TIME10. That's TIME, the number 10, for all of our Tech Time fans across the nation. Do you know that puzzles are relatively simple tools that solve a complex range of problems? In game form, we learn useful analytical and communicative skills that will find the application in work, study, and other spheres of life.
Yeah, they are great forms of relaxation and revitalization.
Do you know that Unidragon's collections now have dinosaurs?
Oh, that's one of my favorite things.
You got to make sure you keep the promo code. It's TIME10 because all of our audience across the nation can use TIME10 to receive a 10% discount at Unidragon. That's unidragon.com. Don't be fooled by other imitation puzzle makers. Visit unidragon.com, the only spot for your true thinking puzzles.
All right, welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. I'm your host, the technology expert, and I got to my left here my cohort, my Lie to Me expert, Mike Gorday, who keeps things on the level for the common everyday person. All right.
Is that what I do?
Yeah, you do. Absolutely. We got our Crown Royal Vanilla. So let me just tell you a little bit about Mark Mumbles. Mark Mumbles, as I personally cannot even mumble on this, as that's what he says. Crown Royal's website misspelled brulee, and it's a Canadian whiskey. Ugh. You better like vanilla because you're clearly not liking the whiskey. Let's address last week's whiskey segment, where unfortunately we did not have Mark mumbling. Instead, Nathan made some incorrect statements about whiskeys that need to be cleared up.
That's right.
We have a legal definition of whiskey according to the Tax and Trade Bureau of whiskey. Spirits distilled from a fermented mash of grain at less than 95% of alcohol by volume, 190 proof, having taste, aroma, and characteristics generally attributed to the whiskey, and bottled at no less than 40% alcohol by volume to be 80 proof.
That means a true whiskey is 80 proof or more.
But there is zero requirements about oak containers. Notably, the United States is among many of the whiskey-producing nations, and it does not define aging or an aging vessel requirement for whiskey. The minute a grain comes off the still, it is legally the definition of whiskey. The specific whiskey types, bourbon, rye, and corn, have additional rules that usually talk about containers and other parameters. So he just wanted to be very Mark Mumbles. He was not here last week, and I was talking a little bit about the barrel whiskey. I found it on the internet, so I believed it to be true when I cut and pasted it.
Even though I commented about it. And
you did.
You tried to set me straight on it.
And you got a 9.5 out of 10 on the rating from Mark because
right.
He said that you kept me straight and narrow. So there we go. All right, now let's get ready to move into our whiskey tasting. I'm liking it though.
Wait.
We're not doing a total review yet, but I'm liking the taste of it. I haven't finished it yet, but you have finished yours.
Yeah, it's tasty.
And I do like vanilla. I didn't think I liked vanilla, but I do like vanilla a little bit more than I thought. All right, now let's get ready for our next segment. It is a feature that Mike considers to be a little bit scary that covers the hacking, stealing of data, legal issues about piracy, and cyber crimes of the week Mike refers to it also as the sipping whiskey segment. Let's start Protect Yourself Today.
Protect yourself today.
All right, story number one. We're talking about a VPN provider that bans BitTorrent after getting sued by a major film studio. So let me talk to you. Most people use a VPN so that you can normally mask your ID so people don't know when you're on the internet what you're downloading. So essentially, this VPN provider is now banning BitTorrent activity after it got sued by a film studio, which is like the 90% of what people use VPNs for.
Right. So they use VPN so they can download things,
movies,
not quite legally,
that aren't quite there, and that happens quite a bit. So, in a settlement, TorGuard has agreed to block BitTorrent traffic for all of its users. Now, we have talked exclusively about BitTorrent and VPN clients to use specifically regarding this type of deal. We have talked in nausea about VPN clients. You go back to 8 different episodes that we have. I use NordVPN, and it's not the best VPN, but I have never had a problem with it over the 10 years I've used. Mike, you use Viper VPN, which is, according to Nick Espinoza, our security expert that is on the show,
that's the best.
That is the best that is out there. Now, if you're paying for TorGuard or any of these low-end VPN services, let me just tell you what they're doing. Right now, they're actually providing the information that you download when an illegal suit happens, and they're giving it to the company. So all of the information you have is no longer secure, which is the service you paid for. Well, so it's kind of like going to the store to buy milk, and they give you that soy crap instead of the real milk, and you take it home and pour it on your cereal, and you're like, what the heck is this?
You don't know when you're buying soy milk and regular milk?
Well, I'm just saying, if I went to the store and I bought regular milk, I want my 2% milk, and they give me this.
I'm not sure we're talking about the same thing.
Well, I'm saying that it's kind of misleading. If you're going to use a VPN to be masked and not have your information out there.
Now, I asked this question when we talked about this.
Okay.
Because this sets a legal precedent.
Yep.
Are we gonna find that these companies are going after all the other VPN companies, and all the other VPN companies are going to then fall in line because now that TorGuard has had a summary judgment against it?
I think that's what we're going to have happen. I do.
Really? You're like, no way, man.
Except for the top 3 or 4 providers that are out there for VPNs that are stationed in Switzerland, stationed in Germany, and other locations outside of the United States. Any of these cheap VPN services within the United States, you're going to get what you pay for. So pay a little bit more money to go outside.
That this is going to happen in United States-based VPN companies.
That is correct. All right, so that's our segment on Protect Yourself Today. We are now going to move to what I'm most excited for, is to talk about this 40-hour work week as we start Mike's Mesmerizing Moment.
This is Mike's Mesmerizing Moment, presented by StoriCoffee. Visit StoriCoffee.com.
You know, it's funny that we talk about this stuff, and then everybody's like, oh, it's a 40-hour work week. We're going to need to make sure our employees are working 40 hours a week. Where the 40-hour work week came from is an interesting little historical thing.
Well, tell me about it.
So when you think about it, where do you think 40-hour work week came from?
Some big boss in some factory that said, I want my employees to work here all the time.
Right. Actually, that's a reduction in hours, right? The 40-hour work week is a reduction in hours. When the Industrial Revolution came along and everybody was working, people were working ridiculous hours.
Okay.
That's where we get some of these laws like child labor laws, because they were, working children to death in factories.
Okay.
So this came about as a reduction from Ford.
From Ford?
From Ford.
Okay.
He because he was making cars.
Yeah.
His
not very good cars. But okay.
You drive a Ford.
I do. I have a Ford Focus. I like it a lot.
Yeah. So he's doing this, right? His justification was, if people are not able to enjoy driving around and recreation, nobody's going to buy the cars. So his thing was reduce the amount of hours people are working a week so that they have more recreation time, so that they'll buy more cars. So
makes sense.
So the funny thing is that he started this trend. Now everybody thinks the 40-hour work week is the way it should be, when it was really just an arbitrary sort of idea from one of the first industrialists in America.
That's great to know. All right.
Yeah.
That's a mesmerizing moment. It makes me go,
it's
I
still
did not know
stupid.
that. Well, why is that?
because 40-hour work week is an arbitrary number that really is not.
Well, not speaking of stupid, let's talk about our pick of the day here. All right?
Hey, we're going to get music?
All right. I think we're going to move to the next segment. Yes, our pick of the day segment.
And now our pick of the day for our whiskey tastings. Let's see what bubbles to the top.
Bubbles to the top.
All right.
40-hour work weeks. That's what's bubbling.
That's all right. So we got our whiskey here, right? So we have our vanilla. Crown Royal. Now, you said it was a better than the other vanilla that we had. That was the Jim Beam version. Is that what you said?
Well, I'd had some Jim Beam vanilla not too long ago, and it was really sweet. So I didn't really like it that much.
Okay.
This is as far as blended whiskeys go.
Yep.
This is tasty. So
I'm giving it
I'll
a
give it a thumbs up.
I'm giving it a thumbs up. Thumbs up. Oh, whoa! Look at that. Our engineer has a comment. What's that?
I liked it. I give it a thumbs up.
You give it a thumbs up too?
Yeah.
Okay. At first you said it tastes like Listerine.
I like the taste of Listerine.
Oh, you like the taste
some
of
people
Listerine?
like Listerine.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't like my breath.
You know where
being-
Listerine came from?
Where,
Oh my God.
where Listerine came from? Ford?
No, it didn't come from Ford.
Okay.
Howard Lister.
All right. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed our show. We talked about technology. We had a little bit of fun on the side. And as always, you can always get more of Mike and myself by just visiting techtimeradio.com. You can click on some video files. We got our newsletter coming on up, which we're really excited about. So you're going to want to sign up for our email list by visiting us. Remember, the science of tomorrow starts with technology of today.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on Tech Time Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/techtimeradio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at Tech Time Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.